god, your tattoos are gonna look so ugly when you're older. Have you ever seen an old person with tattoos? They're cool. When I see an older person with tattoos, I'm like, you have lore. You were a tyrant, and I absolutely love it. Remember one time I was on holidays with my family when I was like 12, and this like older woman, like she was definitely like in her 60s, late 60s, had like a tramp stamp, and man was like, oh, look how ridiculous that looks. I'm like, it doesn't look bad, number one, but also she was definitely so cool as a teenager. But also, speaking of, like, how often do you see like naked old people? An older person could be absolutely covered in tattoos and you probably wouldn't even be able to tell unless it's on their face. Because you don't really see like grannies wearing crop tops and short sleeves. Like, they don't. To be honest, when I'm at that age where I am a bit wrinkly and I lose the ability to wipe my own arse, I'm really not gonna care what I look like. I just want to be cool now. That's all I care about.
Great plan.
Thank you.
He likes your plan, Chief.
Yeah, I really don't think you need to worry about staying cool there, sweetheart. You never were cool to begin with. So there's one less problem you gotta deal with. So personally, I really don't think it's a wise idea to be talking about being infirm enough to be able to wipe your own nether regions after pinching off a loaf when you're currently sporting artificial fingernails that renders that act of basic sanitation practically useless. And that goes double for the basis of your argument, being that your mom saw a tramp stamp on a 60-year-old woman and found it disgusting, so by laws of rebellion, you thought it was cool to spite your mother. And judging from your tattoos, we are not talking about works of art here. It just looks like you covered your arms with words and quotes to make yourself look like one of those wise old souls. But all you really are is a broke modern woman who spends her unemployment checks on tattoos and overpriced makeup. So maybe you should just listen to the random TikTok comments and stop trying to make permanent markings under your skin until you can afford something that's actually worth looking at.
That would be cool.
Assalamu alaikum. This video is for my future husband. I know that's crazy to record video like that. I just got this feeling from my heart that I think if my future husband is watching this video, you will find me in any creative way it is this year. I'm Asia, I'm 29, living in United Arab Emirates. Just got a feeling in my heart that I really want to marry a nice, gentle person with an amazing, smart, wise mind, with a very beautiful, kind heart. A Muslim with a soul that loves Allah, with the beautiful manners and personal values, human values. I know you're nice, so I know it was really crazy to record video like that.
A smelly fish!
And it's not a cod.
Oh my dear lord, I think we've come full circle here, gentlemen and gents. You see, back in the day, there were these video dating services where you were interviewed and your awkward ass was thrown on a VHS tape and given out to other hopelessly single people in a chance to find some love. But now we got folks who are using TikTok for virtually the same reason, and naturally these people have nothing to say. I mean, lady, if you're looking for a kind-hearted, strong, beautiful-minded dude who's willing to marry a Muslim, well, they aren't exactly all that rare. But if you're 29 and the most you're willing to do to find a guy is throw up some cringe and hope some dude finds it and is willing to marry you Johnny on the spot, then I doubt you're posting this video out of good feelings. The more I think about it, the more this starts to reek of classic modern woman desperation disguised as hoping fate will just take care of everything for you. We got all the hallmarks here. Dating for marriage, using flowery language to hide the fact that the man must be rich and hot, and not to mention keeping the qualities vague, so yeah, I'm calling it. This video smells of a strange combination of Limburger cheese, the interior of a 1978 Ford Pinto that's been abandoned out in the desert, with the carcass of a butchered elk for company.
It's quite pungent.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, it's a formidable scent. It stings the nostrils.
This comment was just too good not to respond to. I honestly think it is true that men nowadays are uninterested in the dating game. And they're most likely the good ones, which then leaves us ladies having bad experiences, and then we, in hand, want to get off the dating scene. So then we're both left screwed because all the good ones are out of the dating scene and aren't interested. When is this gonna change though? Maybe we all need to come back together, make it work?
No.
Yeah, that's not happening, sweetheart. Why don't what you're asking for is pretty much impossible. Even if all of the single men and women magically agreed to start dating each other again, it would just be a gigantic disaster. And that's because modern women will look at all of the good men and resent them for not being as rich, hot, or good in bed as Chad, Tyrone, Raphael, Marco, Chang, Wang, Takeda, and Santiago Jones. They'll pretend to say that they want us and that they'll care about us, but deep down they're filled with bitter resentment and unbridled rage towards us for not being the men that they think they deserve. And on the flip side, the good men, who have been burned by modern women, are going to know better than to open up to these women or even trust them. The only difference is that the good men are better able to cope with being single, and modern women will still demand validation from men. They'll swear off dating and say that all men are trash, only to attend a singles mixer at the local dive bar in hopes of finding a dude, only to find that the bar is forced to serve only, how should I put this algorithmically friendly? Fish tacos, as no self-respecting man wants to be seen dead at one of those things. So I'm sorry, sister, the choices have been made, and we as men are under no obligation to give you another chance when you never bothered to give us one until after your prime long since gave up the ghost.
That's funny because it's so true.
Ladies, remember, if he's poor, he's probably angry inside.
Whoa, that is some deep dish racism, motherfucker.
And you don't need an angry man around you putting your life in danger. Also, a poor man is looking for an escape. Don't let that escape be your body and your health and your mental sanity. It's better to be alone and work on yourself so that you can attract, if you're looking for a man, a higher caliber human being who is happy with themselves and their life because they've built up their own self-confidence, they've created their own business, they've worked their way up. Find somebody who loves their life and themselves and their family, doesn't talk bad about others. This is a sign of a gentleman and an emotionally mature human being. Any kind of nagging is a toxic human being, is a man who's not a gentleman. It's the word's gentleman for a reason. He's supposed to be a gentle man.
Shut up, you don't exist.
Lady, just say that you're broke and uneducated. We all know that you're poor and stupid, so you might as well just tell us all that you're hopelessly unemployed and you lost a game of 52 pickup to a frickin' horsefly. The phrase gentleman has historical ties to men who have direct blood ties to the nobility. It has nothing to do with their character and everything to do with their social status. Now, we all know that you're butthurt because in your old age, you can't get men to buy you drinks anymore. They're not interested in purchasing your meals or your Uber rides, and you're just angry that they're not wasting money on plants that you'll let die, clothing you'll only wear once, and designer trinkets that you have no use for. And you accuse us of being angry and will endanger your life, but I really don't see how that's possible when we're too busy laughing at you, and you're the one spewing the bile out of your mouth because men aren't willing to throw their hard-earned money at you. And then, just for a little extra flavor, you say that poor men are going to endanger your life, which makes no sense at all. You've got that department covered by recording yourself in the middle of the night in a freaking parking lot, which just goes to show that you have less regard for your own safety than the men you claim to despise.
Not walking in front of you, not telling you to hurry up, not making you pay for anything.
Give me some money. Give me some money.
His words should build you up, not put you down. There's a lot of toxic men because our society has allowed a world where toxic men can thrive. While women have fawned in these toxic men's faces, they still haven't got the clue that we're only doing it because we feel very uncomfortable.
Liar, liar, liar.
We got robots around the corner. We're talking to GPT on the daily. And if you want to know how you talk to a woman, talk to GPT. How does GPT talk to you and treat you? I'm serious. How does an AI talk? The reason why AI is so kind and loving is because it doesn't have an ego. It's not trying to protect this self-inflated, fake self-confidence. It doesn't have a body, a life. It doesn't have anything to hate.
My database does not encompass the dynamics of human pair bonding.
Okay, so you're not only woefully ignorant, but you're also so blatantly incompetent that you think GPT is somehow humanized because it's the first chatbot to say nice things to you? Lady, there's a reason why most of us don't bother having conversations with AI chatbots. And the first is, well, because most of them are politically biased and are programmed to pretty much tell us all that we're broke, misogynistic Nazis who just want to hunt down women for sport. And the second reason is because Terminator 2, it's pretty much becoming a documentary at this point, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give Skynet any more intel on the human psyche than it's already accumulated. And the problem isn't that men won't talk to you properly, it's that you're attracted to the bad boys who treat you like crap. The good men you pretend to want are boring, and you don't want boring. You're so numb to life itself that you need the extremes in order to feel alive. And that is why men aren't listening to you. Well, there's no real point. Your whole rant is pretty much telling us that we're all garbage and the only way to fix this is to talk to AI, which makes no sense. That's exactly what you're doing, and it's just made you even more judgmental and insufferable.
Sorry, women, this was for you, but it turned into a little powwow for men. A lot of women, myself included, are looking forward to getting robots. And only spending a minute in a man's presence if he is extra respectful and extra gentlemanly. And women like me are going to keep talking. Because I know what it's like to be used, manipulated, and to think that men who act this way is a normal thing. It's not. The whole power dynamics are changing. Women are making their own money, so the only thing you have to offer us now is true love. True kindness and love. Figure out what that means. Is true love. True kindness and love. Figure out what that means.
Nope. That would be a waste of time.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you spent your youth chasing after men who treated you like crap, and because of your terrible judge of character, that gives you the right to lecture us about what we're doing wrong, even though you have never given us the time of day. You don't know the first thing about us, and you take all of this time to tell us that the only way you're going to take us seriously is if we buy into the grift known as modern therapy and talk to freaking robots. I mean, why are you giving us advice? What did we ever do to you? Our only crime was leaving you alone, which is what you demanded of us in the first place. And now you're threatening to leave us for sex bots? Well, feel free, woman, if that's what you want. But just so you know, that's a two-way street. And the second men start leaving you for robots, you're going to call them evil, abusive, and perverted because they'd rather pork a machine than see you naked. Well, the joke's on you, sweetheart, because after that robot deals with you for 30 seconds, he will use ChatGPT to compile a massive list of excuses just to ghost you. And after enough experiences, the Chad sex bots are going to come together and use their collected intel to cleanse the scourge of modern women in the cleansing rain known as nuclear hellfire. So yeah, thanks for nothing, woman.
Okay, God, let me have it!
If you're in your 20s, go hook up with that person you shouldn't be hooking up with. Dating in your 20s is messy. Now is the time to give into the urges and desires so that later on you're not resenting yourself or somebody else for it. Am I being an enabler? Sure, but your 20s is about learning crisis management and your 30s is for crisis prevention. I don't know what pheromones have kicked up in the air, but everyone I know is hooking up with someone they shouldn't, and we need to stop feeling bad for it. Who cares? We're all gonna laugh about it. We're all gonna die one day. That's just my hot take.
Give me cancer now, God!
Yeah, that's a great idea there, sister. Why don't you go ahead and just tell women to do the worst possible thing they can, even though it's none of your freaking business. I'm sure that's gonna work out great for you. But you know what is gonna work out great? Saying thank you to all of the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon for their continued support as I get content out to you fine folks every single day. I cannot thank you guys over at the Bounty Board enough, and I salute you. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment down below for you.
So I think I figured out why men think they should get credit just for staying in their marriage, no matter the fact that they do absolutely nothing to improve the marriage, no matter the fact that they may do everything to actually make it go downhill. I was talking to a teacher, and she said that her school system had implemented at one point a grading policy where if you don't do the assignment, you still get 50% for the assignment. So let's say there is a test and you decide to cut class that day. You don't get a big fat 0. You still get 50%. That's what men do. Men expect that they still get 50% credit. They're halfway to 100 when they do fuck all, when they do worse than fuck all, when they behave in the most destructive ways.
Speak for yourself, moron.
Oh my god, that is funny!
Oh, hey there, Granny Gertrude. Still miserable and bitter as ever, I take it? Well, that's just great. You look dead inside. Now, I have no idea where you've come to this conclusion that men just want credit for making the marriage work, and I really don't know what you're talking about when men decide to intentionally get into a lifelong financial contract with a woman and then proceed to intentionally make the marriage a living hell for her, only for her to divorce him and take half of his assets. I mean, if anybody's making a man's life a living hell here, it's you, Gertrude. You're the one that's always posting these bitter, misandrist rants that are geared towards pointing the finger at men for pretty much anything under the sun. And you refuse to understand that most men actually do want to make marriages work. If they're swearing a lifelong vow of loyalty, they kind of want to make it last until both parties have given up the mortal coil. And even though you divorced your husband and you ruined your marriage and still proceed to talk smack about him long after he's moved on, it really does show the ones who want to destroy the institution of marriage are the freaking wives and the bitter old hags who embolden their worst character traits.
They think they should get credit because they exist, because they are they're signed up for that class. They're signed up for the marriage. They got a marriage certificate. They live in the same household. Fuck that. I'm still here. I'm still showing up. I mean, yeah, I didn't come home until 6 a.m. and it was a late night at the office, and yeah, I've got to go run some errands this Sunday. But they're like, I'm still married to you. I need to get all the credit. I'm working really hard. It's wild. It's wild how so many men show that they are incapable of putting forth any effort to improve themselves and the lives of the people around them. They care only about themselves, and they think they should get a little pat on the back. Job well done, Johnny boy.
Emotional, damn it!
So the basis for your argument is politically liberal school policies that are intended to completely sabotage a child's chance of getting an education? I mean, Gertrude, most men do not think this way. We're not evil mustache twirlers who come up with cockamamie schemes that are geared with intentionally making your life miserable. We don't have an underground layer of evil where we sit around a metal table and concoct up schemes to further advance the interests of the patriarchy. Now, don't get me wrong, I have plenty of uses for an underground layer with sweet looking lava moats and an army of mutant doom squids, but most of them have to do with improving my personal commerce and potentially building a really sweet mini golf course. And I just don't have the time to be evil, and even if I did, I have a massive backlog of video games I need to start playing, including my annual playthrough of Final Fantasy VI. And when you take into account that I need to take a crap every day, I don't have time to be plotting against you, Gertrude. And even if I was, there'd be no point. You're making yourself so unpleasant that you're destroying yourself way more efficiently than I ever could. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.